Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Ultraism here, and I'm joined as ever by my fabulous friend Saberfox. Saberfox, how are you doing tonight?
Well, apparently I'm fabulous, and that is great. I'm awesome. Yes, today is actually a very good day because we are casting another DGL Overwatch community game, if I just might add that. It's actually one of the new rounds, but this cup actually just started recently. So it's one of the first rounds, and we have LeetPro Novaex and also DDC Dominion, the two teams I think was the two teams we actually cast the most. So this is actually not something new for us, anything like that. But it's always fun to cast these teams. It's one of our favorites. Also, the fact because you actually also come from League Pro, so it's a nice bonus for you and also your teams. But yes,
Certainly.
other than that, I am doing great.
Fantastic, certainly. Guys, you will see that there's a couple of intro videos and transitions and stuff like that. I am sponsored by LeetPro, just have to put it out there. So I do have to just do my justice and everything. That's not to say we're going to be biased towards their team. They have a fantastic team. But we have also seen DDC in action, and these guys have shown an incredible amount of potential themselves, a lot of really good play by themselves. Interesting fact is that I learned today is Death Seed is actually one of the tank players for DDC, used to play for LP Novaex, so he's even swapped across. So these guys know each other's strategies pretty well, know how it works. But like you say, we've seen both of these teams in action. We've seen LP Novaex with some really interesting strats, including some Torbjorn Orisa strats that they've pulled out. I think, was it DDC that ran the last minute Bastion, or was that Ecstasy? I can't remember who that was.
Actually, I think that was Pew Pew Gaming.
Okay, that was Pew Pew. Well, of course it would be. You are the Bastion fanatic, so it would be Pew Pew that has it. Pew Bustios, really good team. You guys must go definitely check out a couple of their VODs. But tonight, we have the first round of the VS Gaming Community Shield Cup. I think that's it. Yes, Community Shield Cup. If you guys don't know how this works, we had all our qualifications. We had our Ruby Cups. We had our Amber Cups. And these guys are the ones that have qualified through that. The top four of each of those competitions went through to this. They played their showdowns. They proved themselves and their worth. And they made it to this place. And now we have a double elimination tournament waiting to see who of these teams is some of the best in South Africa. Tonight is round one. Round 2 will come on Wednesday. Round 3 is next Monday. Round 4 will be on Tuesday. And pretty much we'll keep you updated from it up there. But yes, I am just being correct. It was Pew Pew Bustios. They are actually Bustios. I don't think they're completely affiliated with the Pew Pew Gaming site. You'll know more about that than I am. But focusing on tonight, we have one of the great games. The other games in this first round is DC Damage Control versus PXR Phoenix Rising in the first game. VL Team Viral, which we cast last week, in fact, really great team there, versus Ecstasy Gaming. LP Novaex versus DDC Dominion, which is this game, and Noobs Inc. versus AM Alpha. So, really top teams coming into this first round of the tournament, and we'll have to see how these guys go and if they're going to be able to qualify for that Digital Gaming League Championships after this series.
Yes, now I'm actually looking at these dates. I think we will be able to actually cast about 4 of these games. We'll be able to cast round 1, 2, 3, and then 5. So this should be quite interesting actually for us. If I'm also not mistaken, we should also... Yeah, actually, from round 4 up, we should be able to cast those games because after that week, I should be able to have a completely open schedule. So we'll be able to bring you those games. It just depends on if we are able to get those games to bring you that amazing gameplay for all these teams. So let's hope we are able to, you get all these teams and bring you the action live from either my channel or from Artis's channel. It will change from time to time. And then it will not be a full biased LeetPro channel. It might be a full biased Gamer Gadgets channel, but we'll see how that goes on later on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
The thing is, these brackets and these times were scheduled around all the teams being in here, and I see we only have 8, and the bracket that I'm looking at does have about 4 empty slots in it. So we're probably going to see this is going to be round number 1. There is going to be a losers bracket, but in the winners bracket, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 of that, and that fourth one, if I'm not mistaken, is the finals. So the dates are subject to change. We're waiting still on DGL to finalize those couple of things, but we will make sure to keep you guys aware. If you want to make sure that you don't miss any of the action, though, you must make sure to follow myself and Saberfox on. We're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, I'm on Twitch anyway, and most importantly, Facebook. I know all my updates, and I'm pretty sure all Saber's updates as will go out there. So guys, in all the descriptions and everything, you'll find links to us. Go while we're waiting for these teams to just get set up at this stage. Go ahead, give us a like, and keep up to date with that sort of action. Back to the game. Saber, how are you feeling with tonight? Any maps that you want to see? I mean, we've seen so much of Kings Row, but teams are actually starting to get away from that. We've seen a couple of Gibraltars, a little bit of Dorado sneaking in here and then. Legion seems to have fallen out of favor in the last couple of maps.
Yeah, that's true. I think when the variety of the maps actually got a bit bigger, teams were able to, choose more of the maps that they want to play and not, forced to just a certain amount of bracket of maps. So I think that kind of, spreads out why we see less of Gibraltar and also Kingsrow and more of other maps like Hollywood and, things like Lane. But still an absence of maps we do see of the control point maps, obviously due to the fact because control point maps are actually, it's vary from side to side. Not everybody likes those control point maps. So it comes down to if they also, actually, now I also think about control point maps maybe take a bit longer than our usual other maps because it's the best out of 5 on those maps. So control point maps take ultimately longer, but in my opinion, I think they're more fun to play on. But then again, when it comes to certain lineups of players, you can't really always use what you want in that kind of situations. But in some, let's take for instance a Torbjorn, which is one of my recent heroes I've been playing with, and I'm quite enjoying. He is actually quite extremely strong lately on these few little maps. Well, actually on all of the maps that I play on. I've been doing a one trick with him. For people who don't know what a one trick is, that's basically maining him 24/7, not picking anything else. When people are screaming and swearing at you for changing a character, I stick to that character. Apology.
Beautiful.
Hold on.
Really nice. Just you go ahead and mute yourself there. Guys, we will be jumping into the map draft. I've just been sent the link for that now, so expect to see these guys starting that any second now. I think we're just waiting on DDC Dominion. I do know that LeetPro Novaex is all ready to go. They're in their Discord channel and they're waiting to see. So we're just waiting on DDC and the two teams to join in together. So hopefully in just a few seconds we should be getting on it. Like you've been saying though, is control points are so good because you really see both teams on an even standing. But at the same time, it just so much comes down to that first fight that I think a lot of teams are now starting to shy away from it, because especially with the dive comp, you can do really, really well to take a point, but then to hold it with that dive comp, it takes a lot more finesse and a lot more teamwork and cohesion to really hold it than to really jump in there in the first place. So teams really enjoying that, either the hybrid maps or the payload maps at this stage, just because that dive with the Winston Tracer Genji, which is the current meta, really, really nice strategies that come out with that as the attacking team. And I really think that having a best of 3 allows you to have all that. You're allowed to play around with both maps, and it also depends on what you know about the other team. Is if you know that they're incredibly strong on a certain map, a certain type of map, you can obviously lean towards a control point if you know you're stronger on that. But as these teams start feeling each other out a bit more, we should see a little bit more selective planning. Whereas in the beginning, guys were just trying to feel each other out, so they didn't want to commit hard to a payload map, and they wanted to try to get a nice even spread.
Autism, you there?
I'm here. I've been here the whole time.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. You just actually cut off for that last little second. But yes, very good points you made there. But as I continue with my previous before I choked on, I don't know what exactly. Yes, Torbjorn is actually well, I've been maintaining him a lot, and he seems to be working a lot, actually very nicely on all the maps. Doesn't matter what you play on defense or on attack, he's that extra player that provides you that little bit of support. Something, a nice little tip for people out there. When it comes to playing a Torbjorn, you do not have to constantly stick by your turret and repair it. You can drop it, get it up to level 2. If you see it's taking damage, just leave it and go away to the next spot. Just plant that turret anywhere you can, and when you're engaging, drop that ammo for your, that armor for yourself. Okay, it's basically like an extra heal for you. But yes, lately I've just found a new love for Torbjorn. I'm not sure if you actually recently played Torbjorn, but he's just absolutely amazing in this upcoming season.
I love Torbjorn. Unless he's on the other team, because it seems like my teammates just haven't quite figured out most of the time how to group up and actually, prioritize targets there. So he's really infuriating to play against. But certainly the best part is I play a lot of mystery heroes, just because it's more fun for me. Then you get a nice Torbjorn in the defense. You put it up, and there they come in with like 4 squishy heroes and no Reinhardt or anything like that. It's a feast for Torbjorn, especially considering we've seen a lot of even the pros these days running that sort of Torbjorn Orisa draft where they can put that turret in a slightly more aggressive position, but constantly have that barrier just protecting the turret, and you don't have to then dedicate something like a Reinhardt in the past, which is why it didn't work out, because Reinhardt would then just stand there and you would lose a lot of the damage that you're now making up by the turret. Instead now, Orisa throws down the barrier, protects just the turrets, and you actually end up having 7 people with just the static bastion-like turret almost that's just unseatable. And we saw there LP ran it on Hollywood on the first point, and the attacking Team Viral couldn't even get on the point. They dedicated so much time, and they just threw Kahozu into that background. Did
Kazuha.
I do Kazuho?
Yeah, you did.
That was my turn. Oh gosh. It's guys,
wonderful.
if you're new to the stream, this is a constant joke between the two of us. It seems like hopefully one day one of us will be able to pronounce this poor gentleman's name properly, and just it is Kahozu, not Kazuho.
No, you said it wrong again. It's
Kazuho. I'm gonna write that
It's
in big letters and just stick it up
it's
above my screen there.
We said Kahozu because when we speak fast, it's easier to say actually.
I completely blame this on you there, Saber. You have now.
I've cursed your time on this
me.
now.
So.
But yes, you are very right with the teams. When you have a Torbjorn turret that's extremely strong and constantly being a nuisance for the team, the enemy team's obviously going to complain about it, and then they're going to put a lot of manpower and resources into that Torbjorn turret, which at the end it becomes a distraction. But the rest of the enemy team is trying to take out that turret. They're busy. The enemy team is busy taking out them. So the Torbjorn turret is not only an extra player. It is also a very good diversion, and it basically makes sure you don't lose anything with anything like that. It's the perfect setup in my opinion at this moment, unless they do come up with a nurse anytime soon. Other than that, I think a Torbjorn is a very must pick for me, in my opinion.
Certainly, it certainly gives you a lot of counter to that dive, because dive has always been a snowballing, just distraction, evasion thing, and with that auto tracking, a Genji just has to play so much better to always be aware of where that turret sight lines are, and he can't just jump around in the back lines. And especially as a support player myself, I really enjoy having a Torbjorn, because in worst case scenario, it doesn't matter if your team just ignores you. I mean, the number of times I've stood at the back and tried to tuck into my team, and there's a Genji or a Tracer busy on my ass constantly trying to pick me off. And instead, I just now can tuck into the Torbjorn turret, knowing that Genji has now got a very limited time window. And when you're playing an Ana, you can throw a grenade at your feet and buy yourself another 3-4 seconds against most players. And that Torbjorn turret just really adds an extra line of defense, not just when the guys are pushing in general, but for your supports, for your cleanup on the point. The guys someone like a Lucio can stick around on the point for so long and just keep contesting it, especially in overtime or something like that. Torbjorn's turret doesn't care that he's jumping around, doesn't care about his weird hitbox. It's still going to keep shelling that damage in and just get good guaranteed damage. So it's such a nice thing. Wait until people start using it on attack. Then that's kind of where I start drawing the line, though.
Actually, managed to use it on attack quite well. And also, a very nice thing is because you are on attack and you are basically planting, it's constantly getting that extra damage. So you get your ultimate up. And as soon as you start moving into that point and your whole team is keeping the enemy busy, you're getting your turret up in a perfect position. And then you just go Molten Core and you just hear those little blink, 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 and then you get your kills. And at the end of the game, you get a nice little play of the game, and the whole team hates you for it, but they still love you anyway. So, a Torbjorn going Molten Core on defense or on attack, that is not something you want to walk into. That is, you want to get that turret down as much as possible. But when it goes Molten Core, that turret's health goes up to 900. So that is already a tank. And also then Torbjorn's health also goes up, I think, to 500, if I'm not mistaken. So when you have, let's see, for instance, you have two tanks on the play already, and you go Torbjorn Molten Core. For that small 15 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, you have two tanks with raging damage, and Torbjorn's speeds also increased. So when you just spam that right click with a shotgun with that damage boost and that speed boost, it is just the ultimate player, and it's just insane.
So, now that we've been chatting about Torbjorn for ages, we finally have a map draft that's coming in, and instantly we see LP banning out 2 control points, both Nepal and Lijiang Tower, out of it. Here we have Hollywood has also been dropped out. That's been one of those go-to picks eventually, that a couple of guys are going, when they don't get that ideal King's Row, they swap off to Hollywood because it's got that verticality that a lot of teams are doing. And when we see some teams like Rafts was playing such a phenomenal Farah the other day that he just dominated the team. And when we see a team banning out Hollywood, they've obviously seen Hollywood and Gibraltar, 2 favorite maps of LP Novaex, going out very quickly. So obviously this DDC side knows Novaex, they know what they play, they know how they play it, and they just don't want to have to deal with that. Maybe putting them onto some unfamiliar soil, as we see DoM1n1oN as the 3rd ban there from LP Novaex.
Yeah, I'm quickly looking at this. For guys, we do apologize for the late start. I know it's already 20 minutes when the game should have started, but the teams were experiencing some technical difficulties to join the game and get underway. But as we can see, we are busy with the draft now, and we can already see some interesting maps already got eliminated. As you see, Hollywood already got eliminated, which is actually quite a pity for me, because I was actually looking forward to seeing a bit of Hollywood. We don't really get that much anymore, but it's not really much of a favorite, especially for some of the teams. But other than that, what do you predict is the 3 maps we might see?
King's Row is out, Route 66 is out, Watchpoint Gibraltar is out, Hollywood is out. Those are 4 of the most popular played maps in this game. So the fact that those 4 maps have already gone out opens this up completely. I see we still have Temple of Anubis. I don't think guys are going to want to play Temple of Anubis and Hanamura. Man, I hope we don't go to a 2 control point map. But Dorado's still in there, so I'm guessing that's going to come out. Eichenwald's still in there, which could be really interesting to see. And then Ilios is still in there, which I think is going to be your control point map. So if we could have that sort of very nice balanced play, it would be really, really good. But man, I'm terrified of seeing there's Hanamura gone. Thank goodness if Temple of Anubis goes out as well, I'll be a very, very happy man. I don't like 2 CP maps. They so often end up with ties, but they do certainly give you some very exciting gameplay sometimes when you just got a team that needs to get on the point and in the last few seconds just manages to get it. And just 1 or 2 team fights can really separate teams on those maps. So we'll have to see at this stage. And Eichenwald has actually been banned out. So we have a 2CP, we have a payload, and we have a control point. At this stage, we're just trying to sort out order to see if this does go to the 3rd map. But at this stage, what do you think of these picks? Certainly picks that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, Temple of Anubis, that is definitely a map we have never casted before. Dorado, we have casted that, and Ilios was also on a map, but it's definitely a very good variety of maps. I'm actually very pleased with these 3 map choices. I'm just hoping that Temple of Anubis is actually one of the maps we get to cast. But if I'm taking a random guess, I think that will be the deciding map. I'm not actually on the live. Oh,
it has been banned out.
Live draw.
It is the
Yeah.
deciding map, which is very interesting. So Ilios was the second last map banned out. So we are going to be starting on Dorado. Such a nice map to start with. Really, really good. So Dylan is now saying it the other way around. Temple of Anubis first, then Ilios, then Dorado. So let me just check.
Didn't this happen?
Yeah.
Didn't this happen? The last is exactly the same as last.
Yeah, that's why I just wanted to check. Is I always thought they banned it down to the map going to be starting on last, but we are starting on Anubis, and then we'll be going to Ilios, it seems, and then Dorado as your tie-breaking map. So could be very interesting. Certainly means we shouldn't get a tie there. Dorado is, I must admit, I do like payload maps just because it's a very definite winner, is you get to a certain point. Anubis does open it up, though, for a couple of very quick games if one of these teams gets going very easily. And the fact that it's been left in the pool, that DDC Dominion left both 2 CP maps, Hanamura and Anubis, for their last 2 bans, makes me wonder if they've got a very definite strategy going into this.
Yeah, I'm also very quite curious to see what these teams are going to pull out there. This is quite a very unusual pick of maps, but it's actually very short pace and fast pace. Short. Yeah, sorry. You know, it's a very fast paced maps. These maps they've selected at the moment. But on the other hand, I can't really call anything because we haven't really. Well, I haven't really analyzed these 2 teams on these maps that great, so it's completely something different to see what's going to happen here. So I am quite excited to see what's going to happen here on Temple of Anubis. As soon as they decide to go ready on that, I'm just going to type here on our side saying we are ready. But other than that, yeah, I'm actually just quite mind-boggled at this moment to see a Temple of Anubis, because we know Temple of Anubis, that last point is a very toxic place, because you can just constantly come jumping out there and get on that point before it gets even captured. So you can constantly just have like a little zergling rush people out of there and get your people on there just in time.
Certainly, when it comes to 2 CP maps, though, I do appreciate Anubis a little bit more. Hanamura's got that big choke, and it comes down to a really, really important control of that choke, and then it opens up, and it gives the defenders a really, really big advantage in the beginning. So, I'm excited to see this. I'm not going to lie, I am excited to see this map, just to see what these guys can do about it.
No, I'm 100% with you on that, because this is not a very light map, but yeah, to see what these teams can do, this is a very defensive map. It seems like we have LeetPro, which is on the blue side, and then we have DDC on red. So that means LeetPro will be defending first, and we have DDC on the offense. This is quite interesting, because it looks like if there's not troll picks at all, we have Archon here on a May, which is on attack. So that's already something completely different there. And then on the defending side, we have Raft on... Rafts is on a Sombra. So that's already something you don't see every day. We have Kazuha here on a Widowmaker. So we should be seeing some nice little headshots there. Usually, I think it was Corrupt, or wasn't it? Or was Corrupt usually the tanker for LeetPro?
Corrupt has played a couple of positions. I do think he is mainly a tank, though. Raft is picked. I'm very, very interested in. Kazuho has played his Widowmaker before. We've seen he knows exactly how to use his character. But Raft plays a fantastic Pharah, and I'm very interested that he hasn't chosen the home of Pharah, the place where Pharah shines so well, to really shine on this. But we've seen a very interesting team comp coming out here, and very quick little play there by the side of DDC Dominion to run into the side there, and they know exactly where they're going. They've got this thing planned out, and here we see them going up and around already. There we see Archon getting a couple of kills, and they're pushing onto this point very quickly, with May already actually contesting it.
Yeah, you can see actually Dylan actually had a nice utilization of that wall, using it as a shield when they walked out of the first push. But it seems like the teams are on the payload at the moment. Corrupt is trying so hard to interrupt the capture of it. It seems like Raft is then at top to the Sombra, getting some picks there, but it seems like Def is on taking down Kazuho. And it seems like the DDC defense is just not working at the moment. Sorry, the LeetPro defense is not working. DDC is definitely showing LeetPro that they are a team to reckon on this attack, but this is very soon to decide yet.
An incredible bit of play there by the side of DDC Dominion gives them an instant capture of the first point. There was no time wasted here, and we instantly see them moving on with still 6.5 minutes left. We do see the hack coming out now as Kazuo is being picked off in the back line there by Death on this Farah, as see Farah falling now, but most of the side of LP Novaex is still alive. There goes the Divid bomb, doesn't pick up anyone at this stage, and Archon's actually going down very, very quickly as LeetPro finally manages to get a defense together, and they do a nice hold here to stop all the momentum from the side of DDC Dominion.
I'm not sure if it's just me, but did you actually notice? I think that they nerfed the Diva's self-destruct, because Corrupt was actually in the blast. He got that little force push, but he was not taken down completely. It's like they completely nerfed it for, so some tanks actually survived that self-destruct.
I think they were just far enough away. The damage does go down as you go away from it. Archon now swapping off. We've seen a couple of the changes coming out, and we do see a Tracer coming out now from Archon, and Death still raining down from above. Haha, love that pun. But we do see them just now, a little bit of poke damage from both sides coming out. No one falling down. Cybernox taking a bit of damage, but that just helps to charge up for the defensive ultis. LP Novaex has 5 ultis in the bag, and Deathseed's got one, and Death has one. Man, these guys need to learn how to play with slightly more cheerful names. But no one ready to jump in yet, as they know that this could be a very quickly turnaround fight if LP decides to dump a couple of those ultimates.
Yeah, it seems like DDC is taking the right side, using a fence. It seems like DFC made a nice little attempt going straight in there. Well, Dylan just faster goes not far behind to follow up, and Rico with the transcendence keeping his team alive, and the rest of them tries to take down the people. It seems like we don't have much support from the rest of the team, because they actually got taken down pretty faster by the LeetPro defense. But we have only 2 van defense. It seems like Rico gets taken down. Dylan actually gets follow up there, and it seems like we only have DevSeed there, but gets taken down, who's stuck in the corner. Monkey got put in the jungle.
Just a really nice bit of ultimate economy there coming out from LeetPro. They knew exactly what they needed to win that fight, and it was just Nano Visor. So Caliburn manages to jump his ulti straight into Kazuo. Kazuo puts on that visor from that high ground there, just does a huge amount of work. Kazuo is already up to 43% on his next ultimate, so just making sure to keep enough, knowing exactly how much it takes to win a fight, and doesn't waste any more. So nice bit of play by LP Novaex to keep it just exactly where they wanted at this stage. As we see Raft going quite deep this here.
Yeah, Raft is being quite nuisance for him, went in the far background. Actually, sadly, I think wasted his ultimate there. But it seems like DDC actually saw the opportunity, took the gap, and went straight in the middle. But Earth Shatter going down for Cybernox, getting at least 2 kills there. But it seems like we got a nice trade there, with Dylan getting another 2 kills on both supports. Self-destruct going down, only getting Dylan there, so that means that Revive coming in. I've spoken to Cenas. Look, DDC has the upper hand of people at the moment. If only Raft and Kazuho are also alive. Kazuho getting taken down. Here comes Athena with a revive just in time. Cybernox getting, Athena getting at least a double revive there for his team. It seems like they are taking control back of the payload.
Yes. Sorry guys, if you guys are getting some spikes, I don't know what it is. After this match, we'll definitely take a look at it and try to sort it out. It shouldn't be happening. I don't know what's going on. Am I lagging on your side there, Saber?
In the chat, no, not so much. And I can't really comment on the stream. I'm constantly busy watching this, so it's kind of hard to say. From a audio point of view, you're not lagging at all, so it must be a video lag input or something.
Okay.
But as we speak, it seems like DDC is making another offense, this time from the left side. But it seems to be taking it very slow, but as I've spoken to see, it seems like a full frontal assault hacks coming in from Raft yet again. And it seems like we have Dragon Blade coming in there from Dev. Kazuho's attack visor. It seems like the kills are getting traded left and right. Dev seems to be on top of this game now, taking down Kazuho. And Transcendence coming down from Rico, keeping down DevSeed, who seems to be the only one alive at that point. And we're not even... LeetPro's not even trying to take any shots because they know they can't do any damage to that. Earth Shatter on Cybernox, getting down Rico. And it seems like LeetPro yet again had an amazing defense right there.
Ultimate's being burned left and right here as Archon actually dumps a bomb which takes out NoON, and Cybernox just cleaning up that stage. We do have the pause coming out. It seems like these guys are also struggling. I'm not exactly sure who's the admin at this stage, but from both sides now, not sure what the problem is. Maybe the lag's actually coming from the server or something that you guys are struggling with at this stage. As it stands, DDC Dominion has a minute 46, so about 2 pushes if they do it well, but they have no ultimates. DeathSeed is the only one who's got one. Not really a kind of team-wipey ultimate, and they just seem to be dumping a couple too many ultimates. Archon had that bomb that just could do so much. Recoil, spending a Transcendence when there was pretty much only him and DeathSeed alive at that stage. It would have been so much better to use that Transcendence if he had it as that tack visor came out from Kazuo, but the damage was already done, and when the Transcendence came out, they just couldn't do anything to hold that point. And on these 2 CP maps, this is why they stall out so much, is teams need a quick team wipe on the defending team. The attackers need to come in with a distinctive strategy, with a couple of ultimates in their bag, group everyone together with something like a Graviton Surge or an Earth Shatter or something, clean them all, and come back very, very quickly. Recoil, though, did DC. Thankfully, he won't waste his ultimate, because I don't know if you guys know this, but when you DC and you come back into the game, you do lose all of your ultimate. It seems like he didn't officially disconnect from the server though, because he's still got 6%. He did use it in that last fight, so even if he did lose it, it wouldn't be too much of an issue. But how do you think Dominion has to approach this next phase of the game in order to make sure that they don't actually stall out on the second point?
Well, from what I've noticed so far, they're actually running in when they get at least 1 pick, which is Raft. But in time, you know, they get to a point, Raft is already spawned and is back up again. So I think they have to focus on getting their supports down first and then getting on the tanks, because the tanks seem to be the ones causing the most damage for them at the moment. So, and also one main thing now, because they have no ultimates to support me except for DevSeed ones, they're actually going to have to, you know, first, I would say use that 30 seconds I have on there, build up all their ultimates, see if they can, you know, bait some ultimates from LeetPro and then, you know, move on from there.
We see Raft going in very deep again as Archon's just looking for the flank here. Has been spotted out there by Cybernox. Cybernox always with that vigilant eye. And now they go deep with this much heavier dive comp than previously. We do see the self-destruct coming out now. Manages to pick off Recoil actually, and Corrupt again manages to take out the mech from Dylan. So a nice bit of hold still from the side of LeetPro Novaex as they manage to turn it back, and just that little bit of a tempo res, making sure as LeetPro Novaex that no little funny business, making sure that they've got everyone that they need for this last fight. And Athena back up to 15% already. No defensive ultimates, but Raft can shut down an entire team's push with just that EMP, and then they've got Kazuo to just clean up that point at the end.
Yeah, definitely. I would say Raft is a very good pick for them at this moment, because the team is completely shut down every time, as you said there. But it seems like we only have 25 seconds left. It's now or never for DDC Dominion, and it's to show what they can do. It seems like we're not wasting any time, getting straight on an Earth Shatter going down by Cybernox, getting these 3 of them. Here comes the EMP, knocking down 3 of them. It seems like DDC already lost 3 people, and LeetPro lost 2. So it seems like the favor is going in. It's going in favor of LeetPro with only 1 of them alive. And it seems like, I'm not sure if Mpundu actually had that ultimate, but I think ultimate would have been more used at the start of that battle and then at last end there.
I think he was trying, but I'm pretty sure he knew that Raft had that ultimate. He was probably guessing, and that EMP, one of its best uses is to wipe out a shield. So if he runs in there with that ultimate and drops it and then gets ultied by Raft on the Sombra, that's an entire wasted ultimate from the Lucio. So I don't blame him too much for holding on to it at that stage. But just we saw there a little bit of disrespect going towards Death Seed as the Night Elms actually pointed out in the chat, little bit of teabagging going on there, just not really showing the respect that he deserves, but a really nice push, and Raft's ultimate did a huge amount there, stopped the Mei from using the freeze, just stopped Mei from putting up that wall, and Mei without any abilities is a very dead Mei.
No, that is definitely correct. You were actually very right about Felicia. I completely forgot about Raft's Sombra. But now, speaking of Raft, if this is not a troll pick right here from the start, you know, troll as casters, as I usually love to do, it seems like Raft is going on a Hanzo. Now, people from South Africa, or in Africa mostly, don't have local servers. Taking a Hanzo is a very risky thing because of that arrow. Sometimes that you click the button to like a full pullback, but it doesn't even make the full render pullback, and then it just kind of does like a little fake loop thing, and it just falls in front of you. So for Raft going with a Hanzo, that's completely something different. Yeah, I haven't touched Raft Hanzo in ages, but it seems like it was a short pick Raft. The how of you, Raft is going on a Pharah.
I'm very excited to see this Pharah coming out. Raft has proven in the past. It was on Hollywood last time that we saw Raft really showing his might, but coming out now with it. But we do see Rico has the Sombra, so just maybe trying to counter a bit of dive there. But this team isn't really suffering too much with the dive at this stage. From that Sombra, Kazuo obviously on his ever-favored Genji, and just works so well together there with Raft to get that one little rockets plus combo of the shurikens to take down. I think it was Recoil Sombra at that stage, but very, very quick push, and so far a very successful push here by the side of LeetPro.
Yeah, no, Raft is actually definitely saving the team's asses at this moment, especially when Genji almost got taken down by Symmetra. Raft was just right there getting that one little RPG in the back, and that was it. But it seems like we had already first point captured in the side of LeetPro, but LeetPro is not wasting any time. They are getting already straight on in there, causing so much havoc there to start. You know, see if they can build up their ultimates, because not one of the teams actually think have one of their ultimates up. The closest is because Zuho and Raft is actually very close on the 80%, and Raft even not far behind. But it seems like the engagements are off. It seems like, there we go, one ultimate off going there from above there by Raft, and it seems like we are already going in favor here of LeetPro. That is it, LeetPro takes it in a few seconds with 6 minutes and 37 seconds remaining. That is an amazing push there by LeetPro. DDC had no chance whatsoever to start the LeetPro Blitzkrieg.
So LeetPro manages to take the first round. This was our first 2 CP map that we've had, and LeetPro is wasting no time. Athena picking up that man of the match, or woman in the match in this case, just doing such a nice tempo res at this stage. Only a 2-person res, but when you are man down like that, it's so important to be able to just get those people back up, keep holding, because if you trickle onto the point, it doesn't always work out. And just a really nice bit of EMP usage there by Raft, but certainly I think that Pharah play by him in the second round just showed what he really, really does. So Cybernox is just asking for a 5-minute break, guys. Not 100% sure what's going on, but I think we just need maybe some time to to figure out what's going on with some internet connections, and we will be back ASAP. But that doesn't mean we can't stop talking. So,
no, that does not.
Saber, for your first cast of Temple of Anubis, thoughts?
Very, very short if the teams cannot hold it. Yeah, it was actually a very fast push there from the side of LeetPro. DDC sadly could not get their feet. It was not able to do anything at all. But then DDC on the other side, that first, I think they did a faster first push from what the side of LeetPro did. But LeetPro then in the second point actually had an amazing defense, completely shutting down DDC Dominion as soon as Raft actually got up his EMPs and everything constantly, getting in those backlines, Kai from behind, being a constant distraction, and then, always finding just that nice little gap in the flanks So Ralph was actually on top of his game in that first little that first map. But then also let's not forget the DDC actually had an amazing attempt there in the start, implementing May's Wolf very well when it came to that first attack of theirs. Using it as an extra shield, blocking off the complete side of the enemies, making sure they don't get that extra bit of information. So I'm not taking anything away from DDC or Dominion, but I'm pretty sure. I think it might go into their favor when it comes to Ilios at this moment.
Should be very interesting to see. I mean, Ilios is a very nice map. Raft, I see, could get a lot of use out of Farah. Kazuo probably won't be able to pick up his ever-favored sniper Widowmaker on this map. Maybe on Ruins he could get a round or two with that. But I think he's going to go for his typical Genji. Athena playing the hell out of that Mercy. Really nice bit of tempo res. Just awareness when the very good reader of the game is Athena. Just knowing when their team is going down. And both teams showing that they can attack very, very well on that last game. Both of them managed to take that first point in their first push. So you're probably going to see a good couple of rounds here where we don't have anyone really holding that 100% shutout on any of the control points. You're going to see both teams just coming in with really good strategies, knowing exactly what they have to do. And we've seen Deathseed on that, really does like that Winston. So if you can get that Winston on there and just jump into the back line and shut down a couple of those supports, chase down Athena or something, they could have a lot of pressure put onto these maps. So both teams could have a lot of use and find a lot of use on heroes that they really enjoy on this map.
Yeah, I'm going to make a little small predicament for this game. I'm telling you now, both these teams are going to go with a very aggressive dive combination. And then you're going to see one team's going to do a little bit better than the other one. And then the other team's going to do a complete swap, to catch them completely off guard. Counter that player with a better player. And then it's basically just going to constantly be a counter pick chess game. Yeah. So I think that's what we're going to see on this the kind of gameplay we're going to be expecting on Ilios at this moment.
I put some money on Raft getting at least 4 or 5 environmental kills if he does take a Pharah. I mean, there are so many edges of the map at this stage that Sabinox just calling out the 2-minute warning. It does seem that someone had to restart their router. It was... he did type it in chat. Yeah, Corrupt had to restart the router. We are still waiting on him to come back. So Sabinox is aware that they are missing a player. There comes Corrupt. Has jumped back in, guys. So very, very presently, we should be jumping into our second round at this stage. The score, if you are just joining us, LeetPro did take the first map. It was a 2 control point, Temple of Anubis. And now we're going to the King of the Hill map, Ilios. So we're ready. Both teams are ready to go. So we should be jumping in very shortly.
Yes, and this should be a nice little change of pace, I would say, different because it is a control map. As I constantly, say, we don't get that much opportunity to cast these kinds of games. So, yes, I'm very happy about the change of pace. We get to, experience and also then cast for all of you guys, bringing you live from our channels. Guys, if you are joining us right now, this is the DGL Community Shield Cup, where we have LeetPro Novaex and DDC Dominion. First map was Temple of Anubis, and it went in favor of LeetPro under a few seconds. It was an astounding defense from DDC, but LeetPro actually showed that they were the top team on that map. But now we are here on Ilios, a control map.
I must admit, I am quite a fan of control maps. It shows a lot more mechanical skill that teams have to have. As long as they group up nicely and attack the point, we see a lot of their personal playing ability coming out at this stage. As we do see Athena standing there on the front of the point. Just shout out to Athena's Mercy. I've got a soft spot for Mercy players, and Pundu now selects his Mercy on their side. So we do see very similar lineups coming out from both sides. Deathseed and Cybernox both picking up that Winston. We see Dylan and Corrupt both taking a Tracer, and Pundu and Athena both on the Mercy from both sides. Bit of difference there. Death and Raft going Farah to Farah. We do see a Lucio and a Kazuo Genji, as always, coming out from the side of LeetPro Novaex. whereas DDC has opted for recoil on a nice Zenyatta and Archon's Soldier 76. Wow, these hero names are difficult when you just completely blank out.
Oh, it's because you're blanking out. But yes, it seems like we are underway. 2 heavy dive comms here, and it seems like the teams are off. Both Rinsons jump to opposing sides. It seems like both supports, already 2 supports going down from both sides. Kazuho taking down Soldier, who is Archon. So it seems like we are already going in favor of LeetPro. But as I say that, the trades are just going off. We have only 1 player there on the payload, which is DoM1n1oN from the side of DDC. Corrupt and Raft taking him down. So the point goes in favor of LeetPro, and Kazuho is just holding the rest of the enemy team back and respawn.
So, it seemed that both teams just overcommitted a little bit on both sides, and they just were so interested in going for the other team's supports and other team squishies that they left their own behind at that stage, and it just worked out that Kazuho managed to pick off the Soldier from the back line, and that just took out so much of the DPS from the side of DDC Dominion as we see him go down there now, and Cybernox just getting a couple of kills there. Archon falls again, so that Soldier has been out of the fight for 2 fights in a row now, and that means he's going to be very far behind on ulti percentage there, as we see just the point erupting with a little bit of skirmish. Lovely pulse bomb from Corrupt, though, manages to take out Dylan. Doesn't manage to avoid it, and Death Seed, so just a Pharaoh from Death floating around there, manages to land the direct rocket onto Raft, and manages to take it, and this point is turning the way of DDC Dominion. So, as I was saying, this point is flopping back and forth and back and forth. Cybernox jumps in there, Kazuho pulls out the Dragon Blade and is going to work on this backline, looking for kill after kill, manages to pick up 2, sheaths the blade, and is now on cleanup duty, hunting after Death Seed.
Yeah, sorry, it seems like we have a nice little trade here. Actually, DDC was actually, LeetPro managed to get 50% on that point. It seems like DoM1n1oN, I hope I'm saying right, that DoM1n1oN was the last attempt of the Tracer. It's taken down, so it goes in favor of LeetPro yet again. DDC is getting chased back all the way back into the spawn. LeetPro is not letting up at all. They are not giving these guys a rest 1 second at all. It's just constantly having him there for the last alive there, but it seems like he's going to get taken down any second there. Raft spotted him. The information is coming down from LeetPro, but it seems like they are falling back, giving them some space to breathe before they do overextend. So well played for LeetPro at the moment in this attack, and also for the retake on that.
They do need to watch out now though, because DDC has a lot of ultimates. They do get the early pick out, both a rocket from Archon and a rocket from Death, managing to do a lot of work there in the background, and Death doing a good job here to just stay out of trouble, and manages to get with a couple of really quick kills and the help of Archon. Just that really nice combo of the Soldier with the consistent damage and that burst damage from Death, doing such a good work, and they managed to pick up the point without expending any ultimates, if I'm not mistaken. Death Seed might have gone crazy monkey there at the point, but not a big ultimate to waste when you've got stuff like Pulse Bomb, Tac Visor, and raining death from above on the Pharaoh.
Yeah, I don't really find the Winston ability that strong. It's to get people off points, in my opinion, and also make some more room. But yeah, as we see here, the LeetPro is making a nice little offensive, see if they can get a retake. But they really lost 2 players. Death gets taken down at the end there by Kazuho with sniper, nice little sniper there. Cybernox, as I called it, was able to make some room, completely push him off. It seems like they dropped Corrupt BB. Seems like he is having some line problems, and here we come in with the pause. That is a bit of a problem of Cybernox. You should have called for the pause before actually pausing on that, but it's fine. These little things happen in times of panic.
It does. It is going backwards and forwards though, but Impundu still has that res. This point is not over. They have a lot. I mean, Death Seed is the only death at this stage. Death has pumped his ultimate out. Archon's used the Tac Visor. I'm pretty sure it's still going at this stage, but he can. Raft is in the middle of his sightlines there, from what I can see anyway on my screen. Kazuho did swap out to the sniper. We saw just not getting enough done on that Genji. He probably feels, even though he was doing incredibly well, getting a couple of really nice Dragon Blades out of there and picking the tanks apart from the back line, but picking out that sniper, just maybe thinking that Death is doing a little bit too much for his liking there on the Pharaoh on the other side. So maybe just giving his Pharaoh a little bit more space as he wanted to get that sniper, and we saw him doing a lot of work with that. Death went for that ultimate, managed to get the pick on the Cybernox Winston, but Kazuha did take him out of there very, very quickly after that point.
Yeah, you actually see a very nice. It seems like these teams are definitely communicating, and as I said, the teams are going to take, the heavy dive comes. Then someone's going to do just a little bit better, or they want that little extra space. So Kazuha, we see LeetPro was the team who actually was the team who changed up their lineup to create a more comfortable area for themselves, as you just described now by them trying to take down the Death, which is Farah, creating more space for Raf to walk around with. But then again, with Archon there, it's kind of hard how, it's kind of hard for them to work with a Farah, being a counter.
Certainly, it's just, you got to play around it. I see Corrupt coming back into Overwatch now, so we shouldn't be too much longer. Death needs to play a lot more carefully with now that he's seen that Kazuha is swapped. Maybe just needs to stay around a couple of the pillars. Might even want to, now that he's dumped the ultimate, he might want to swap onto something himself. They do need to do it quickly, though. He doesn't really have a lot of time. I mean, we've got 3% on the side of LeetPro Novaex. They need one more team fight, so he might not even have the time to switch out at this stage. Well, which would mean Kazuha has timed his sniper swap very, very well. So we're ready on our side. Both teams are ready at this stage. Caliburn's the only casualty at this stage for LP, whereas Death Seed's gone down. So both teams now 5-on-5 fight. Corrupt won't be in this fight though. Sitting back in base on 0 ultimate. I do hope he got to use that before that DC. So here we go back into the game as we do see Archon with his tac visor as he goes down instantly.
Well, Archon was actually a bit cocky in the chat saying he's coming after Raft. It looks like Raft actually coming after him, but there we go with the Mpundu getting a nice little revive. That Transcendence coming off. That team is going to stay alive in this little second, but it seems like Kazuha's focusing on snipers. Athena with a revive right there, so this is definitely anybody's game at the moment. Now Recoil going down from the side of DDC, Rocket Barrage going up, and Roth gets a double kill there on the Mpundu and Dylan. So it seems like we are going in favor of LeetPro at this moment with only one there with Steph, but gets sadly taken down, and it's only 3% and LeetPro will take it, and the overtime counter is going down.
We do have a couple of Pharaohs jumping around, but doesn't manage to get back on the point. We did see Death swapping off the Pharaoh there, going instead for the Roadhog, which I thought after Kazuha came out, but well played to the side of LeetPro. Both sides getting up to that 90% turnover rate though, and it certainly bodes very, very well for both sides coming into this next round, that both of them are really ready to show that they can take points back and that they're not going to get stalled out at any stage.
Yeah, you see like the side of LeetPro is still taking a little nice little dance here. Athena was doing a little tap dance while she was celebrating the first win of the map. But it's not over yet. It can still go up to anybody at this moment, where we see I'm pretty sure this might be the side for DDC to show LeetPro what they can do. LeetPro do have a nice advantage to that, getting a starting push, but it's not over yet. It seems like Kazuha already taking a few pot shots there at the Raft and Athena, but Cybernox is fast on there. Death getting taken down by Raft, sorry. Death was on a Widowmaker there, but it seems like we have Cybernox coming from behind there. Athena's quick with support, getting the revive up, but it seems like Cybernox gets taken down at the end there.
Dylan swapped for the Zarya, which is the first one we've seen of this round at this stage. Corrupt tries desperately to try just stop that point from ticking over for the last percentage, but does get taken down by a headshot by Recoil. Not easy to do to take out a Tracer as a Zenyatta, but that's the beauty of Zen's balls, is you only need one of them in the headshot of a Tracer, and she just goes down. Really hope that didn't turn out as dirty as it sounded in my head.
Well, let's just go with what? Sorry, let's just go with Tracers are very squishy, but it seems like with Kazuha on sorry, I'm just mind boggled. But Kazuha is on a Hanzo and he really had his ultimate, got one kill on Death Seed, and it seems like we have a pause yet again. These teams' internet, South African internet is not great today for us. What is happening?
I don't think Kazura can blame Internet for being a Hanzo on already another 23% charge after that ultimate. Really good position. The DDC side was just tucked away so well into the point there at that stage, and just picked off everyone at that stage. Doesn't come up on the kill feed for everything, but does pick up the Death Seed kill, but doing so much damage there that everyone else was able to come in, and you see one killer piece coming in for Raft, Sabanox, Corrupt, and Kazura each picking up. Kazura even getting the headshot on Archon, but Sabanox does feel a little bit bad for taking that fight so well and jumps off the map himself, it seems. Death is the only one left, and I don't think that a Widowmaker is going to contest a point for all that long, so I'm pretty happy to say that LeetPro has taken this fight and has managed to turn this point very easily.
Yeah, even though DDC did manage to take the point at the start, getting a nice percentage of 32 there. It seems like, yeah, the Defs are losing today, it seems. But yeah, it seems like we have LeetPro has managed to take a very nice retake there. Yeah, like you said, Def on the Widowmaker, she is, from my points of view where I'm paused at, she is very, very far off. So Widowmaker would not be a problem with a retake or anything like that. So LeetPro definitely has this point captured or in the bag at this moment. But yes, it seems like we are definitely experiencing a lot of drops today, or a lot of problems. I'm not sure if you also noticed that. Well, actually, I'm sure you have noticed because you're pausing it. But yes, other than that, LeetPro seems to have an amazing retake tactic there. What they've been having, it seems to be working quite amazing for them when it comes to the DDC defense. But other than from your point of view, what do you think DDC is doing wrong? What they can actually, I don't know, maybe try to implement to overcome this LeetPro offense or retakes?
You know, at this stage, they're getting torn apart very quickly. They've got a couple of very squishy heroes that are I don't know if it's a really good play by a LeetPro at this stage, or if it's just bad positioning, but people like Archon and Recoil just seem like they're dead in every single fight, and I don't blame them. You're playing as Zenyatta. He's one of the easiest people in the game to take out because he moves so slowly. He's got such a good hitbox. His head just floats there, surrounded by this lovely halo, just waiting to get picked off by something like a Kazura arrow. But you cannot let them jump on you like that, and they might actually want to swap off the Zenyatta or something. I mean, that Transcendence is beautiful. It is probably the best counter in the game to a dive comp, because you press that Q button and you survive and you win the fight. If they've committed too hard, you just turn around so well. But they just need to try and keep something up to keep their players alive, and it might just be a case of that they need to either jump first or hold a couple people back, maybe hold the Winston back, just drop that bubble and let Recoil play around that and just stay alive for a little bit longer. But when Raft jumps onto your Zenyatta, puts one rocket, and then you have a Winston shocking you to death with a Tesla cannon, it takes 2 seconds and you're toast. So they just need to focus on surviving at this stage. They've got such good mechanical skill, but it doesn't help at all, no matter how many shots you can hit when you're dead.
Yeah, that's some very good points you have there on the Zenyatta, but actually Zenyatta is one of the, it's getting to be one of the most liked heroes at this moment when it comes to support groups and the high competitive teams, due to the fact because Zenyatta having that Discord orb helps so much lately, and also the fact it can just drop a heal ball and then do his thing, and while the rest of the team goes on. I think Rico just has to drop a Discord orb on Raft, call it, so Archon can just get an easy job getting him done. Then go on to the next person, who I think should be Athena. Go from Raft to Athena, and then focus on the rest of the team from there. So I think the communication from DDC side is maybe just a bit off. But Rico's not communicating with the team enough. But it seems like we are back.
As we do now see Corrupt just jumping back into the back lines. DeathSeed does lose all of his ultimate. I wasn't 100% sure what he was on. So difficult to keep track at this stage. I think he was on probably about 40-50%. So he's not going to have that for a while. Does stagger the ultimates a little bit, and just DDC does need to be a little bit aware of that. As we see the scatter arrow. Archon, again, just not there for the fight and DDC might actually want to just back out of this. Without your main source of DPS, you cannot take a fight, as we see a couple of players dropping down a little bit, but we do see DDC just retreating and getting out of there. As Corrupt is now looking to just extenuate this lead a little bit more and try to catch a couple of players on the back there, and he just needs to be careful about going too far, because all you need is a rocket and maybe a headshot by recoil, as we see DeathSeed almost going down there on the most minuscule little bit of health there, and Cybernox is quite deep into the side here, as we see the rocket barrage coming from above. There, Raft does pay with his life, though Death manages to take him out, and Dominion has lost 3, but they managed to pick up 2 kills of their own, as Corrupt, though, just sitting on this high ground now, waiting for players to come in and just gets 1 or 2 shots, and Corrupt dives down to challenge Mpundo on the point there, and DeathSeed now is 1v1ing a Lucio.
Yeah, it seems like Kazuto almost got pushed off by the enemy Lucio, but with Kazuho, his Hanzo actually managed to climb aboard. That's a kind of a waste. There we go, the ultimate going off there. I completely forgot the ultimate of that, but it seems like we have the Transcends going off on Rico. DeathSeed is right on there to get as much heal as he can, but it seems like we're only 2 yet again. It seems like every time Rico uses that Transcendence, it's always just DeathSeed there to to support with. So I think I'm not sure if it's a panic reaction every time from Rico, but it seems like we only have 2% left. Archon just runs for it, gets taken down at the end there by Raft, and the second round goes in favor of LeetPro, which only leaves 1 more round. No, is that a win? I think that's
no, it's best of 5. As far as I know, competitive is always best of 5, so I do think they've got 1 more round. Yes, we do have 1 more round there. Going to well at this stage. I don't blame Recoil for using that Transcendence there, to be honest. When you're competing that, they thought that might be the last push at that stage, because they just had to try stall it out, but they were never ever going to go and get that point with just 2 of them at that stage. So maybe just unfortunate bit of pick-offs there. That Archon death on the previous round just didn't let them push in as a team that they wanted, and they might have actually been able to get that extra round or that extra push in that they wanted at that stage. Dylan now taking over the role of Soldier, maybe just hoping he can stay alive a little bit longer, as Archon swaps to the Zarya instead.
Yeah, it seems like we have a triple tank meta on the side of LeetPro, so they are definitely keep changing it up, keeping the enemy off their feet. But it seems Death there at the top is just being a complete nuisance. He has so much space at the moment that nobody is stopping Death with the Mpundu combination right there. So I think we're going to be seeing a very early change here at the side of LeetPro. Archon there with the Zarya last one on the point there. Sorry, I expect to see DeathSeed, and Death is just right behind them to support her. Mpundu gets taken down by Cybernox. It seems like the triple tank mid is working pretty well for LeetPro at this moment.
Man, Raft, that's the 2nd kill that he's got by sucking someone into the well. He managed to get Dylan's Soldier down there earlier, and now pulls down the Zarya. And Zarya is a massive target to be able to pull down, because it just provides so much sustain for your team, so much good blocking there. And we do see Caliburn coming out on the Anna, but getting picked off very quickly by a good bit of play there from Death.
Yeah, actually, you were pretty right with Raft actually getting elemental kills. He's so far too away from your predicament. But it seems like we have DDC who actually has managed to capture the point. But it seems like we have LeetPro here with the 2-tank Kazuho and Cybernox. Kazuho, sorry, I actually pronounced it right. But yeah, with the double tank there, and Corrupt is far behind him to the Soldier, providing the extra bit of support that they need. But it seems like DeathSeed is going straight onto that Soldier, making sure he's getting taken down. And Anna was unable to as he was much. Seems like we have Raft there with the extra bit of damage there from his team with our ultimate.
And they're just trying to beat away at that supercharger there. Finally managed to get it down, but doesn't really get anything off the back of it, as they do push LeetPro back a little bit. Now we see a good couple of rockets coming out from the side of Death, from the player Death, my apologies. Just getting really nice positioning, and as long as it stays in the air, just is doing a lot of work. But now we do see the Corrupt sights coming out, gets nano boost, and Mpundu jumps into the well hoping to get someone to float through out, but Corrupt does see him go down there and picks him off. As there's another knock into the well. This time Death manages on the Pharah to get the poor soldier to drop down, and I'm struggling to find people to swap to on my camera there, as we do see the Raft picking up that final kill and just cleaning up, and LP now has firm control of this point.
Yeah, I actually noticed that Def was actually playing completely sneaky towards the enemy to Corrupt, who was actually soldier. You know, he's constantly getting pot shots and hiding, so Corrupt, I have no idea where to look for enemy teams. Seems like we have a Graviton search going off on the side of DDC. Sorry, not DDC, LeetPro, but it seems like nobody gets taken down for that. The rest of the team is moving on. They're all fighting on, but there's another Graviton search. Rocket Barrage by Def. That's a complete team wipe for the side of DDC. Amazing work there, and that is the point capture for them.
Man, what a combination. Just their ability to stay alive with that Death Seed bubble in front of them, and then just Archon putting a couple of bubbles of their own, and then eventually Recoil manages to get out that lovely sound barrier. Just keeps everyone in tip-top shape, and they managed to turn such a fight that looked like LP had it really well initiated at that stage, and manages to turn it around, and then that barrage comes out, gets the sextuple kill. If that is not play of the game, I will just I may give up Overwatch.
Well, let's not count anything yet. The revives are usually the best things to get their kills. But it seems like we have another elemental kill. Element kill, environment kill from Raft, and it seems Rico also getting an environment kill. These teams are definitely using this environment to the best of their abilities. But it seems like DDC has an amazing defense here, and it goes in favor of DDC. A nice comeback there on the side of DDC, and a revive coming in the last attempt from Bondu, making sure her friends are there to see the victory.
So it does seem like DDC managed to get it together, managed to pull it around, and a couple of really nice environmental kills from both sides there, just being so aware of that. And we saw a couple of Pharaohs, I don't know if you saw it on your screen, but guys trying for a couple more there, and they're just constantly aware of that. But much better positioning from the side of DDC, and that one team fight just turned it so well. So they keep themselves alive. This is, if they lose one round in this, they're out. They already lost the first game on the Temple of Anubis, so they are hanging on by the skin of their teeth at this stage, and they managed to pull it back under super high pressure.
Yep, so this all comes down to this little two last rounds. DDC goes on to a third map, but it seems like we are off, and all the teams are going straight into the little, I'm not sure what to call it building. Let's just say the gazebo for now, the little gazebo building. But no, I spoke to see. It seems like we have DDC going straight onto the point. With only one there in the gazebo actually gets second down with his Death Seed, and the rest of LeetPro is going in. That's actually a very terrible point, because now we're going to get taken off from each position from all around.
Just a little bit of miscommunication coming out, like you say, as Death Seed thought that the plan was to go into the gazebo. I think it's called the library, actually. I'm not 100% sure. My Greek is not fantastic, I must admit, but it does manage to split himself up from the team, and just he gets picked off so quickly. You cannot go in as a Winston and dive that deep and expect to survive at that stage. And we see a charge coming out. I didn't even realize we had Cybernox on his favorite Reinhardt, as he now goes very deep. Does manage to stay alive, and Death actually goes down instead.
Yeah, you don't really see much of Reinhardt then. And by the way, the building has art in it, so I'm guessing it's an art gallery. But anyway, it seems like we have the side of DDC pushing DDC completely back into the spawn. They only have the 3 entrances now to get out of it, but I don't see anything letting up. DDC seems to be gathering up everything they have to make this last sort of effort push, because the points already on 45%. That's a lot of time to catch up for DDC, but they don't even have the point yet. So this is a lot of work for DDC as on their shoulders right now.
Kazuo manages to come out now with the Tech Visor after we saw that beautiful Earth Shadow by Cybernox, just shutting these guys out. They've got the ultimate advantage. They've pushed them back, and they are completely controlling this point. They have no qualms about how to do this. They know exactly what they're doing, and this position here is actually a lovely one to pick up. It gives you so much space to retreat to, so much space for your supports to get to, but they are being flanked now. Archon leads the team around the back, and now it's them separated. Death drops that Lovely ultimate, but Athena is there. Athena has stayed alive again. Athena gets the 3 men up, and now it's 4v6 on the point.
Yeah, it seems like LeetPro was got a bit cocky and left a huge gap for DDC to flank all the way around and actually managed to get the point. So that buys them some time there. Dragon Surge going down there on the side of DDC. Nobody gets taken down. DDC managed to get on. Rob going high and getting depth there, so that's a really nice pick there. But it seems like we have the side of DDC who was losing players left and right. And LeetPro seems to be all over. Nope, I spoke too soon. Mpundu coming there for a revive, getting 3 of our players up. So this might go in favor of DDC right now, but it's still anybody's game as you see people coming in 1-from-1. Not anybody losing it yet, but DDC. Athena with another revive. What is up with these Mercies? They are on top of their game.
Really nice bit of play there. Dylan does get his ultimate out, gets the headshot by Kazua. So Kazua managing to do that, but not before he gets the triple kill at this stage. And now it's DDC's turn to just push all the way back into LeetPro's spawn. And DDC, on that last fight, it was a critical win for them that they needed. I don't think they would have had time to get back. Otherwise, it would have been a very trickled fight, very rushed fight to try and get onto that point. And with how far forward Novaex was pushing, they had to make that work, and they did. Beautiful res coming out from Mpundu, just keeping everyone back up, turning that side, and now it's up to LP. They've got about 2 fights if this doesn't drag on, but they need to make this count. They cannot afford to give away any picks at this stage, and there comes Recoil's ultimate, just shutting down as DeathSea jumps very deep, does have his ultimate, and keep an eye on Death though, because he does have this barrage, just holding it, waiting for a nice opportunity there. Sees the Mercy coming out and drills them. That's another massive ultimate coming out from Death. Such good patience there, and Dominion pulling it back. Were on their last legs, couldn't drop a single round, and they've managed to pull it back 2-2 at this stage.
Yep, the comebacks are definitely real. I think the side of LeetPro was actually just a bit too cocky there and just overextended way too much, and that gave DDC the opportunity to strike back, and they used it quite well. It seems like they have some amazing plays coming in from the side of DDC. It seems like they got a little wake-up call there, especially Def, getting at least a double, triple kill with that Def from a barrage. Def barrage or barrage overall. Actually, yeah, it works pretty well, Def barrage, especially because Def is using it. But other than that, it seems like Dylan is now going on a Reaper, completely different pick there, and a side Corrupt taking now the Widowmaker there. So it seems like they're going to make sure Def has no time to work with, or no space in the air.
Really nice bit of heads-up play there from the side of LP. Just realizes how much havoc this Death Farah is doing to them at this stage when unchecked, and Corrupt from the beginning now takes a sniper. It hasn't managed to pick up anything yet, and Death is actually doing a huge amount of work. Finally, Corrupt manages to get that headshot as Raft gets a kill of his own onto Mpundu. So that's a big advantage now for the side of LeetPro, but there's still 4 members for DDC on the points, and they lost a couple of key picks there, but they still had the man advantage. Still managed to take that point, and now they just have to keep someone on it. And with Archon and DeathSeed on the point, as Kazua pulls out the Dragon Blade, but doesn't manage to get anything out of it as he goes down. So wastes the Dragon Blade, very uncharacteristic of him. And we do see DDC still managing to hold this point, with only Corrupt having a Widowmaker ulti, and does in fact change to the soldier at this stage, just realizing that he's not getting the picks quickly enough to warrant that Widowmaker pick.
Yeah, it seems like LeetPro is just not getting the picks they want at this moment. DDC are supporting each other so well, but LeetPro is just not getting anything done at this moment. It seems like Corrupt went off the Widowmaker now, so Def has the Sky to work with now, but it seems like they are focusing on DeathSea. DeathSea's going down. The communication is very well from LeetPro at this moment. They're focusing on people. Raft at the top, making sure that we're not getting any revives there. Mpundu might be getting taken down pretty soon, but the rest of the team just goes down. Rocket Barrage going down. There we go. Mpundu gets taken on. Raft got his target. It seems like that was a lot of offense that LeetPro wanted right there.
couple of ultimates just didn't get used from the side of DDC at that stage. Obviously couldn't find the opening for them, but they do have it. They do need to take out Athena though. They've got Dylan's tack visor. They've got Death, who's has shown what an amazing ability that he can use that barrage with. Death does take out Raft though. We see a Pharaoh on Pharaoh battle. Winston's going at it against each other there as well, and couple of picks now, but Athena is still alive, and if they drop a couple of these ultimates and waste them, we do see that ultimate coming down from Death, and Death does pick up 2 kills, Athena being one of them, and now we do see DDC having a good time on this point as what's that? Caliburn is going crazy, just trying to knock everyone and disrupt everything to stop this DDC side from wiping them out on this point and buy some more time for his team to get back.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you know. Oh, Kazuha going a high noon gets only 1 kill, but gets second down by Dylan at the end. So it seems like DDC definitely has this point covered. Corrupt running there, scrambling at the back at the second down by Mpundu. So Mpundu got his revenge at the end. Def also getting a Fina. But yeah, like I said, I'm not sure if you noticed, Cybernox and Caliber seem to have changed roles. Cybernox used to be with Winston, but it now looks like Caliburn is Winston and Cybernox is now on Belucio. So it seems like Cybernox, who is, if I'm not mistaken, the captain for that team, has changed roles to make sure he can be more of a shot caller and he's not constantly in the front lines.
Oh, now we see the tack visor coming out from Corrupt. Does get sucked up by that Graviton Surge. Athena does pick them back up, just knowing that they have to win this. They have to get back on this point at this stage. Otherwise, this is going... Corrupt has that tack visor. Going crazy on the point now. Sorry, I lost my keys there, so we're going flying through the air a little bit. But it does see that DDC is holding very tightly onto this point. They don't want to let it go. Athena just floating through the air, trying to keep someone alive, dies, and DDC manages to do the reverse sweep, pulls it back. We're going to a game 3.
That was the most amazing comeback I've ever seen from every team we've...
Oh no!
And...
Oh no! I called it wrong!
No. I called it... Well, not actually, I didn't call it. I called a mercy. And look what we got. We got a Hanzo. That's dirty, dirty Hanzo.
I still think the other one was better. Their Death just showing how good he was on the Pharaoh. Almost 30,000 damage coming from that Pharaoh at that stage. Dylan just pairing up so well with him. Managing... Death lands a rocket or two and a couple of cleanup kills there for the soldier. So, guys, we are eventually getting to go to Dorado. I didn't think it would be this long. DDC really looked like they were just struggling for life in the beginning there, but they've rallied, they've come back, and they are ready to come into this round 3.
I'm actually quite excited about this. Going into Dorado, it's something different, especially we finally got 2 different maps we haven't casted at all, and then it goes on to a 3rd map, with an amazing comeback. So far this has been an insane match. These 2 teams are neck and neck. Dorado, we have casted Dorado once if I'm not mistaken, but it was a very short game, right?
Yes, that is correct. It was very short. I mean, I don't think the teams even got past the first checkpoint, if I'm not mistaken. We didn't even get into the big fate area, if I'm not mistaken. It was a very short game as both the teams just shut each other down very quickly. So I'm very excited to see this go the whole distance.
Yeah, like I mentioned last time, I think, this is what I mentioned last time. This is when the voice kind of cut out with the nice little Bastion, Torbjorn, Orisa, and Reinhardt's combination. That completely toxic combination, but it will get you there, I think. But I don't think we're gonna get this anytime soon from any of these teams. They're gonna go all professional and just go straight on into these games, making sure nobody can stop them. I think we're gonna see a heavy dive come from the attacking side, which is as soon as the team gets picked. Maybe look at the door.
I think it's LeetPro Novaex. Don't worry.
Red on the door, so I'm guessing LeetPro is attacking.
LeetPro should be attacking at this stage, as I'm just busy sorting out the scores there. It is normally the red side that attacks first, so they have shown a lot of good push and a lot of good just fight in their ability to take points at this stage. They do seem to have the slightly better ability to hold onto a position once they've got it, though. And it will be very interesting to see. Kazuo could do a lot here, as can Corrupt on that. Interesting to see Corrupt playing the Pharaoh on this map. Roth just maybe thinking he's had enough of Pharaoh for one day, as we see DDC Dominion setting up on that high ground. And they could do a lot of work here, as Death, again, picking up that Pharaoh, just realizing that that is a winning formula for him in this match.
Yeah, something I noticed, Corrupt's been changing quite a lot of his players he's picking, so he definitely must be a jack of all trades at the moment. Going from tank to assault to airborne, it's definitely something you don't get in much players. You get people who can play a lot of players, but not actually play it pretty well. And Corrupt, so far, what I've noticed, he is an extremely exceptional player, so I think he's going to do quite well in this Pharaoh. There's only one way to find out.
I'm always excited to see when people pick up different heroes, because there's a reason they've put him on it. Is they think that Raft can just do better on the Tracer at this stage, and considering how well Raft did on the Pharaoh in the last match, you gotta wonder how good his Tracer is. But we do see a couple of picks coming out, and Pundu does go down, which is a critical kill for them. Caliburn does go down, so two supports paying with their lives at this stage. Dylan gets picked off, so that's a big chunk of DDC's damage output at this stage. Is Kazuo just hunting Archon in the back line. He and Tracer going together. Raft does pick up the kill, but Death manages to land the retaliation rocket and picks him up. So both sides losing it at this stage, but I do believe the respawn advantage is slightly in the favor of DDC at this stage.
Yeah, it seems like LeetPro actually used the distance quite well. You know, going straight on for the kills, making sure they can get as much kills as possible, filling out the lines, and then later on focusing on the payload, getting it. But now there's a huge gap. They went back for the payload, and they just pushed it forward. Where the rest of the other team, you know, moved on and and swept in. It seems like Corrupt and Death are just, you know, hammering at each other, you know, playing those rockets. And as I speak, it seems like Cybernox is back on the Winston. Is going straight in from Pundu, making sure they have no revives. Gets second down by Death with a return there, but Corrupt is on full throttle. Kazuho also getting a kill. Another double swipe swift here on him. So he is definitely on top of his game with that Genji. And Defc is also trying so hard to take down Athena and Corrupt be in the air there.
Man, these fights are just so far out, and oh, Kazuo goes down to recoil. That lovely little sound blast coming out from the Lucio manages to take him out, and Corrupt's just looking to hold this high ground, but does get taken down. Athena's left in the open and only just survives on a sliver of life. I spoke too soon though, as Dylan does manage to pick him down. Caliburn's in a very dangerous position now, as Raft gets a pick actually on recall on the back of that, as Kazuo now jumps back, but it might be time for LP to just drop back a little bit, get their team back together, and a really nice hold there from DDC after what seemed like a lot of momentum from the side of LeetPro.
Yeah, no, definitely. It seems like DDC has managed to push them off completely, but LeetPro regrouped. Rocket Barrage going off at Dylan. Gets second on Death taking the Rocket Barrage now. Nobody getting a kill really, because Zuho on the Dragon that gets a double kill on Dylan and on Mpundu. So that's a really nice advantage there, the side of LeetPro. LeetPro is down 3 players at, sorry, not LeetPro, DDC. LeetPro is in the advantage. DDC has lost 2 players, so LeetPro is in the advantage here, and they're making quite much use of it. But it seems like DevC going crazy monkey there, making sure that payload does not move an inch. And yeah, we have the revive for Athena getting up Lise Kazuha and also Raft.
We do see a lot of the guys from the side of DDC having to drop back there. Dylan and his Mercy player Mpundu having to just drop back into the side, just trying to. They both got their ultimates, and they know how important they are at this last stage. I mean, those are going to be critical for making sure that this door does not get breached at this stage, and they need to make sure that they get out quickly though, because that payload is getting pushed very, very quickly, and Dylan, instead of going for the high ground, goes onto the ground, gets his sights out, and does very, very well, managing to pick up 2 kills. Kazuha gets the reflect though, and turns it back onto him, now turning around and bringing out his own Dragon Blade, own ultimate, getting into the back there, is going for a couple of tanks, so does get the kill on recoils Lucio there, as we see the Mercy Res coming out. So both sides now are healthy. Cybernox is down though, and It does seem like DDC will be able to hold this last little bit. They had that such a nice play in the beginning from DoM1n1oN on that attack visor, and I thought that they had it until Kazuo pulled that Dragon Blade, but didn't do enough with it, just didn't get the kills on the tanks.
Yep, it seems like the spawns are now working in favor of DDC because they can just get their troops instantly. Now where LeetPro has to walk the far walk of shame, it seems like Corrupt is punching some railings. I don't know why, he's probably taking his frustrations out on that. But yet again, you see Def and Corrupt taking some pot shots at each other. And here comes the Winstons, as always, to interrupt that little bit of fun they have there. Kazuo at the back line is focusing on the high ground, taking the soldiers down. A pass bomb there from Roth. Rocket Barrage coming down. It seems like we're grounded search. Def getting only one kill. Akon getting a number. Def seems to have the kills. It seems like DDC's defense is quite outstanding at this moment, with Corrupt being the last one to attack there, but it's not doing anything at the moment. He's just taking some random pot shots and now trying to run away and get out of here before he wastes more time.
It's so dangerous to be stuck in this sort of position with a Winston hunting you down, because it's such a dangerous ability if you can stagger their deaths. He does manage to get out on about half-life at that stage. Unlucky bit of play there for Deathseed that he didn't manage to pick up that kill, because that would have been invaluable to be able to just stagger it by another 10-15 seconds. But I don't think it'll matter at this stage, because LP only has one push left. Cybernox and Caliburn in the front ground there. Does manage to get it out as Corrupt manages to get the ultimate down, and we see Kazuo now also pulling a Dragon Blade. These guys just dumping ultimates into this, understanding how important it is to keep this payload rolling, and with 48 seconds left on the clock, they may not have another opportunity.
Yeah, it seems like LeetPro got exactly the push they wanted in a nice little kill, which guaranteed their spot to the next checkpoint and got them the closest spawn, and also a lot of more extra time. With 2 minutes remaining, that gives them at least 3 opportunities to push. See, it's like Cybernox and Kazuo is not wasting any time, going straight on into Raft, close to support, and also then obviously Athena and Corrupt, you know, supporting from the far back side. But it seems like DoM1n1oN and Def making quite a quick use of Kazuo, Raft, and also yeah, just Kazuo and Raft. Sorry about that. But yeah, it seems like LeetPro might be just a bit over-aggressive there at the moment. And they're going to have to regroup and get, I think, focused on Mpundu and Def at the moment.
It's going to come down, I think, to these two soldier ultimates. Both of them have it up at this stage. As we see, Archon actually very far out on his own. Manages to get back a little bit. Is managing to survive at this stage as Kazuo jumps into the back line. But the rest of his team has now split up quite badly. We do see Death going down as Roth picks up that ultimate, starts hammering into supports at this stage, manages to get to, DoM1n1oN manages to get a return support kill, but that Mpundu ultimate has come out and it has nullified that whole ultimate from Raft at this stage, it seems. But now it's DoM1n's turn to use his tac visor, as we see Death coming out with another barrage. Just manages to turn it around. So a really nice bit of holding there from Dominion. Has managed to secure the payload from getting around that corner. And so often we see teams dumping ultimates, and if you can't do it, you get stalled out on this corner.
Yeah, Def is actually making so much use of the utilities from Farah, you know, making sure he does not waste any second or let anybody get away. He is definitely on top of his game with that Farah. But it's only 20 minutes left. LeetPro has that little time to push. Kazuo there with the Dragon Blade getting at least one kill on the support. He struggles to get a second kill because of Lucio's sound barrier. Death Rush coming from Corrupt gets at least a double kill, and it seems like only that little push, that little incentive made it possible for them to wipe the team and were able to push them back. With only overtime now, it seems like TDC has basically a last chance here to push them off and wipe off the attacking team here.
They certainly have to. They realize how important that was as they see the sound barrier coming down. That's what's going to have to keep them alive through this. Athena has gone down. Athena had an ultimate. Athena needs to get back into this fight as soon as possible, because that could have been the critical ultimate that if they had it. But it seems like LP, in spite of that, is staying alive. Athena will be able to get back and doesn't even need to. LP manages to turn out and complete the entire map in overtime. Really well played. Just knowing that that Mercy res was down, they managed to dump both the Farah and the Genji ultimates, puts them in, wipes the team very quickly, which is the important thing. No one was there to contest the payload, and they managed to get it all the way up onto the ramp, couple of centimeters, and all they needed was 1 or 2 more picks to be able to push it over the finish line.
Oh, it was quite amazing plays there from these two teams. It seems like these teams, these two teams. Sorry, I'm falling off my words for some reason right now. But yes, these two teams are neck on neck at this moment. As we see on the first map, LeetPro managed as to completely walk over DDC. And then on the second map, in the first half, they did exactly the same. But then DDC's managed to just, find an extra bit of grip and just completely pushed on back, wiping them off. And now you see they actually managed to defend them all the way into overtime. So now it's time for DDC to attack and LeetPro to defend. So I'm hoping for another amazing play that we just watched now when it comes to pushing out to the end of the time. Seeing the amazing plays we did, like these Pharaohs are on fire, the supports, the Mercies, oh my gosh, the Mercies are definitely on fire today, getting at least 5 revives each round from each Mercy there, and that is quite an amazing amount of revives there. You don't always see those kind of things and actually using that. But it seems like on the defending side, we have Corrupted on Symmetra and Raft not going on a Pharaoh, but also on on Roadhog. So I'm thinking he's gonna want to go for a hook for death, for that little insta death kind of situation there.
Interesting that Corrupt. I'm just busy watching how he's placing these Symmetra turrets. It's always a fascinating art to me because he's just put them in so many places, and instead of putting them in one place and hoping to get a kill or two from it, he's spread them out quite significantly, and it seems to me that he's looking at it more from an information standpoint than from trying to get a quick kill. And I guess that's what his teammates on the top there are doing. They've got that space to do it. As Death now just sticking on with that Pharah, tucking away nicely, just managing to stay out of the sidelines of Kazuo, as we see Death Seed now with Double Bubble actually jumping into it. And you know what they say, double bubble is trouble. So we see now them pushing very, very quickly as Deathseed is still alive, does finally go down to the hook from Raft, and Raft manages to do it, and Kazuo is pushing forward very aggressively, but it does seem that LP has managed to push back this first push as that another hook comes through, but only lands on Arco and Zarya, and you never want to hook a Zarya because that's just free charge for them.
And definitely, it seems like Dylan was trying so hard to do a flank with the Tracer, but sadly he got nothing for Corrupt. Taking down Rico with the assist of Rav's little hook there, so that's a combination. It seems like Cybernox with that Reinhardt shield is making an amazing defense, so this might actually go in favor of LeetPro because of the speed that they're going in now. LeetPro is actually able to push it faster if I'm not mistaken, but it's not over yet. DDC still has 2 minutes and 35 seconds. That's a lot of time to push LeetPro off and find that gap you want right there.
We do see a couple of ultimates still in the pockets of both sides now. More importantly, though, is Corrupt has got that teleporter, so they are going to be able to reinforce much, much quicker. We do see the Mpundu ulti coming out, but they haven't really achieved anything as of yet, as we see the whole hog coming out. Raft pulling in that damage. Kazuo instead, though, doing the real work, managing to get that attack visor out. Does a lot of damage. Death does take him out, but he'll be back in this fight in no time with that teleporter. And now just getting through this choke point against the Symmetra, and just the high ground advantage that LeetPro has managed to do it at this stage. Death again coming with that ultimate from the backside. Only managed to get 2 though, and Athena's there with that res, and now it's going to be dangerous though because they've managed to combo it with that Zarya Graviton, and Athena and Caliban both supports down, so it's now a war of attrition as Cybernox does get that pin to come back on the recoil. Lucio.
That was a very nice pin by Cybernox. I also noticed that Kazuha and Raft was focusing so hard on that death. He had nowhere to run. And a nice little hook there, getting Dylan there, getting a shotgun in the face. It seems like Archon there was Desirous lost alive. Sorry, not lost alive. The rest of the team comes to support. Nano boost on Raft and also going whole hard. He is pushing the team off, and Def is just taking pot shots from behind. Nobody's just focusing on him. Def is just making sure they do not get in the payload. 1 minute remaining for DDC to push this. LeetPro's defense is quite amazing. That teleporter is helping so much. Graviton Surge going off. It seems like they really lost one player to any Corrupt. With the help of Cybernox Shield, they're able to push off that ultimates.
You know, the amazing thing is, we're wrong. It's not a teleporter, it's a shield barrier. They've decided instead of going it, they're putting everything into Athena on these reses, and instead just want to keep their players just that little bit more powerful, as we haven't seen Raft die at this stage, and just they can play a little bit more aggressively. Both Mercies are coming out with these reses at this stage, fighting it to the last second. This is an overtime. Well, it will be in 20 seconds, so this is the last push down. And both sides dropping ultimate. Cybernox still has that ultimate, so look for that hammer burst coming down any second now as he's just swinging away in the last seconds. There goes the hammer. Doesn't manage to get anything though as he clubs away, just taking out Pilot Diva, and it does seem that DDC has no one left. They can't get it on, and it seems like we're going to have a first point hold by the side of LeetPro.
No, Def managed to make it on there just in time. Arkham is not so far behind. Gets on it, gets that overtime to just clock up again. But there's nobody close now. The rest of the team gave up. And that is the GG calls. Cybernox with a rush and an Ana boost. That is definitely a GG right there.
Man, what high intensity play from both sides there. Just managing to stay alive for so long. Managing really interesting play there by Corrupt to go for the shield generator instead, but it seemed to work. They stayed alive. Even the supports were there. Kazuo managing to pick up the Genji Blade ultimate, has to be. There we see him drawing it, slashing away, getting the one kill. Actually not even using the ultimate to really get it. Just managing to get a couple of picks on the back line. Gets a lovely deflect there. Shuriken into the head of Dylan. Not a lot of picks in that play of the game, but in the total game, 44 kills there. Recoil, 11,000 healing done. Really nice by him, and well played to both of these teams. So well played. It does mean DDC drops down into that lower bracket. Well played to Novaex. They go through to round 2 in the winners bracket. They stay alive.
Yeah, that was definitely the most fun game we have casted in a long time. It was amazing to go into the third map. Sadly, DDC could not push it all the way to the end, but at the end, LeetPro did show they were all the better team for this for now, until DDC can come back with a nice little comeback. As we did notice, they are good with those retakes and comebacks. But yes, guys, thank you everybody so much for joining us. I've been Fox, and this is Altruism on his channel. If you do guys want to see more streams, casts, or any information about us, please look in the descriptions. There are all the links to Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and Twitch, depending on what channel you are watching from. But as always, guys, thank you so much. Altruism, take it away.
Guys, always lovely to have you with us. Had a lot of good guys in the chat there, keeping it very active. Always nice to see. I hope you guys enjoyed this game as much as we did. We'll be sure to bring you some more. As for us, we've had a fantastic night. We hope you have, and we will see you next time. Cheers, guys. Bye.